Welcome to Joy in Our Town. I'm Sherry Duckworth. Feeding the souls of the homeless is what our first ministry does. Through clothing, feeding, and financial assistance programs, CAM Ministry is harvesting into the lives of the broken. Pastor Z has the story.
Hey, this is Pastor Z. Welcome to Joy in Our Town. We are on site here in San Antonio, Texas, right in the heart of San Antonio downtown at Christian Assistance Ministries, where this place is a buzz. There are dozens of people doing the work of Christ, dozens of people coming because they are in need, and we're looking forward to showing you what's going on here at Christian Assistance Ministries. Take a look.
39 years ago, 9 downtown churches. We took a risk and a leap of faith to create CAM. Said, what would it look like if we shared our gently used items, if we donated our dollars to serve people, if we recruited volunteers from all different churches to go and serve people in need.
CAM is almost completely volunteer run. Most of our volunteers serve one shift a week. They fill grocery bags with food. A tremendous amount of effort goes into each piece of clothing, and it has to be sorted, it has to be put in the correct pantry, it has to be hung up. Our volunteers are interviewing clients, talking to clients, and making decisions.
You are on a very personal level, talking with the clients that come into CAM and discerning what their needs are. So you have to bring out of these folks their real needs, but anyone who comes in the doors here that meets the criteria of CAM, if we are able to help them, we will help them.
I was incarcerated for 2 years. I had lost it all. Lost all my tools, lost my vehicles, lost my homes, lost my family. I've been doing the plumbing trade for about 25 years. Once I had got released, I needed to get some tools. CAM gave me that fresh start. They just told me, you know what, go to the place where they sell tools, we will get you tools. Today, I am the owner of Already Plumbing. You don't know how far your giving goes. It will transform lives like myself.
Wow, what an amazing ministry. We are here with the Executive Director of Christian Assistance Ministries, Dawn Fosdick. Dawn, it's so great to have you today.
Thank you. We're so happy you're here.
This place is absolutely a buzz. I mean, it's Tuesday morning, and there's 30, 40 people everywhere. There's machines rolling. There's buzzing going on. What an amazing operation that you have here. Tell me about day to day, what you're doing and the things that you're doing to help the folks that come to Christian Assistance Ministries.
Well, one of the things that we think is really important about CAM is that no one must have an appointment. No one has to prove that they're worthy. We want to be the place that offers grace and action, and that when someone's facing a crisis, whether it's a short-term, one-time crisis, or it's a long-term issue of mental health disease or physical health, or a family in crisis due to abuse or poverty, we want to be the place that someone can come in that day and get help, and then receive referrals to other locations in town to deal with some of those long-term issues.
Wow. So I'm seeing people coming in today and they're getting groceries, and they're getting toiletry needs, and they're getting clothing.
Yes.
And I think we have a story that we're going to show where one of the things that people really need is assistance with some of the administrative things of being a citizen.
Absolutely.
Getting IDs and birth
Yes.
certificates.
You can imagine we all struggle with sometimes those kinds of things. When you call the insurance company and
Right.
you're about to pull your hair out,
Right.
you can imagine what it would be like if you don't have anything. You don't have your birth certificate, you don't have an ID or a social security card, and you're struggling with getting a job, with poverty, with crisis. It's very, very hard to do. So what we try to do is help people get their ID in order for them to get a job, get an apartment, get health insurance, even things like food stamps. So yes, it's critical.
Because you can't get a job if you don't have an ID.
Absolutely.
If you maybe came from a situation where you weren't shown how to do this, you're an adult and you just don't know how.
Right. We see children who've been in the foster care system who've aged out and they don't know what to do.
Wow.
We see individuals who've escaped abusive situations, so they've had to leave those things behind. Or maybe they've been in a household that was in poverty and crisis and they moved a lot, and so no one saved their birth certificate. No one helped them get a social security card. And we want these individuals to be working and be self-sufficient. And we're pretty much the only place in town that you can walk into and get that kind of help.
Still to come.
They put money on my electric bill, which helped me a lot because I didn't get my lights disconnected.
I signed up for them to pray for my husband and I got a call back. You hardly ever get a call back.
I was embarrassed to ask that I needed help with food or clothing.
Helping people in more ways than one. 4 different success stories from CAM Ministry. Next. Welcome back to Joy in Our Town. Next, we're hearing the voices of some of the people CAM Ministry is serving.
I met CAM around 4 years ago when I first became homeless. This is recently of my illnesses, family tragedy, death in the family.
I was having problems because I'm on Social Security, and they cut my check, and I couldn't get my electric bill paid. And I needed help, and fast, because you know CPS don't play.
I came to CAM first for food and clothing for myself and for my son. I believe it was during the winter months, and so it was mainly to try to get him a winter coat and to get him clothing because we didn't have a vehicle. I remember the winter was cold and we definitely needed to bundle up.
My husband had a liver transplant 12 years ago. That's when I first heard of CAM. We used to have our own business and he fell ill and his health has declined since then.
CAM has helped me in all areas, not just as at lunch, but also in getting clean clothes. Again, I have no money, I'm in the street. What I'm wearing right now is all from CAM. Everything from my shoes, my socks, underwear, slacks, shirt, it's all from CAM because so much of the time to donate what they didn't need anymore is someone who does need, like we are in need of these donations that come in.
They put money on my electric bill, which helped me a lot because I didn't get my lights disconnected. And that's the main thing. I'm on Social Security because I'm disabled. And I need my electricity. It's hot. It's hot in Texas. And they paid on it and they didn't turn my lights off. And I felt like that was a blessing. They help people every day, people like me who genuinely need help. They are the best thing that I've seen in a long time because these days everybody's talking but nobody's doing, and they actually do.
Wow. I know what you do here isn't easy, but it must feel really good to hear testimonies like that and know that you have the opportunity to come in here and do it again the next day.
Yes.
And really keep you going and keep you excited and motivated about what you're doing.
Absolutely. There's a lot of joy here, even though we're dealing with people's situations that often your average person doesn't realize occurs in our community, the type of poverty, the type of crisis, sorrow. Christ's love just shines through, and it's just such a blessing. And often our clients remind us how powerful God can be in your life.
So none of this happens without a lot of people helping you out, I'm sure, right? I think you told me that there's 30 or 40 volunteers, I guess, on a daily basis.
Absolutely.
And I'm sure you've got a lot of community partnerships as well. Is that correct?
Yes, we have a little over 80 churches that formally support us, probably 20 or 30 more that sort of informally support us. People bring over donated clothing, they donate their time, they repair things, and then we have other nonprofits that send clients here and partner with us.
Okay, that's awesome. So I think we're going to hear about a testimony of somebody where there was, I guess you've got some relationships with some more official parts of the state in the city where they're sending folks over here for assistance.
Yes, things like workforce development where people are looking for jobs and maybe we can provide the job clothing they will need, or we might help with that ID recovery I mentioned before, or even help them with their life with utility assistance so they can focus on getting that job and not worry that their electricity is going to be turned off while they're out trying to earn some money.
Wow, what a blessing. Well, let's take a look at that. We've got another testimony about Roy and Annie, and you're definitely going to want to take a look.
I am up on disability and limited income. I mean, sometimes it gets hard. I needed some help financially for a bill or the water was going to be turned off. And I told him the amount, and he went and asked, talked to somebody, and he came back, he says, we can cover it. It gave me such joy. We got food, we got clothes, we got a lot more than we expected, you know.
One of the biggest agencies that refers to CAM is workforce. People are trying to find jobs, they need a ID. We're one of the very few agencies in the city of San Antonio that actually provides that for them. In order to get the ID, they also need a birth certificate. So CAM either provides the birth certificate or the ID, but that is essential for them to move forward.
My car was stolen and everything I owned was inside my car. My birth certificate, credit cards, debit cards, everything was in here. And I have no way to prove who I am, so I can't get the paperwork started to get where I needed to go, so I needed a birth certificate. People don't realize it, but when you have no identity, you're less than a person. So without a birth certificate, I can't get an ID, and without an ID, I can't work. CAM is giving me my life back. This birth certificate is going to be a jump start to catapult me to where I need to be.
We've learned from United Way on many occasions that we're probably in their top 5 referral agencies, and we're able to really assess through partnering with them what the top 10 critical needs are in our community. We work really hard to not duplicate services, to be a bridge for where services are lacking, and to address the most critical emergent needs in our community. We couldn't exist without the church community valuing people in need and saying they're going to invest and partner and make it possible for us to open our doors.
To the people that donate to CAM, I'd like to say thank you. There are thousands of people just like me, and I can't say thank you enough. Again, thank you.
What a blessing that is. Wow. So I can imagine we've heard stories about where we're ministering to people and we feel like we're coming in to help people every day, and we end up getting ministered to ourselves whenever we're supposed to be the ministers. I can imagine that probably happens here.
It does. I was just thinking about this sweet little old lady that I was helping down the stairs the other day, and I looked down at her feet and she was wearing house shoes, and her feet looked just swollen and torn up and in pain, and I thought about that, how awful it must be to walk around and be in that kind of pain. And then I said, so how are you doing today? Because we say that even though I think, what a dumb question. Yeah. And then she said, I'm just so blessed. And I just thought, wow, she's blessed. She's so happy to be here and that we're serving her. And if she can say, I'm so blessed, you know, how blessed are we all?
It really brings to light our problems.
It does.
What a blessing that is. So listen, it's been such a pleasure being here with you today. You're doing such an amazing work, and thank you for allowing us to come in as the operation continues to roll.